Okay, let's do Tate. 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 Tate is going to talk about who he thinks Trump caught coronavirus from or something. Tate's a moron, so I'm sure this will be interesting, to say the least.
So Trump has COVID. I was sitting having a massage, chilling. Now Trump has COVID, so I have to do a Tate speech.
There's nothing funny about the tools.
How rude of him to pay someone to come and give him a massage. And for one thing, I think that's a ridiculous thing to do during COVID anyway. But she's wearing a mask, but he doesn't even have the courtesy to wear a mask himself. What an absolute a-hole. Tate the Taint. Hans is beautiful and Tate is disgusting. They're gross in different ways. Hans comes... You forget, and you think Hans is innocent because he just talks about such silly things. But, like, Hans is like a chattel slavery denier. He thinks the slave trade didn't happen, so he's also a monster. Ah! I stepped on a thing.
Everyone knows what I think about this COVID thing. If you don't know what I think about this COVID thing, you probably haven't been following me very long, or you haven't been following my Twitter. But on my Twitter account, when COVID first kicked off, I went to Sweden to prove a point. See, everyone's now come along saying, oh, COVID's bullshit. Everyone now is...
No, they're not. Idiots on the right are, Tate. Reasonable people don't think that.
...saying it's bullshit. But at the beginning, everyone was pussies, except me. I was the guy.
Imagine saying this while you're literally paying someone, and clearly they're a reasonable enough person that they're wearing a mask. Boy, it would be nice if Tate, got rain on his wedding day. I wish he would get Alanis Morissette because of the things he said about COVID.
Guy at the start saying it's bullshit. Never wearing a mask. Never obeying the rules. Never complying. That was me at the start. All you pussies were listening. And that's how we ended up in this situation. It's really testament to the stupidity of humanity that we can live now under threat of a virus that you don't even know if you have it or not unless you take a specialized test. And
yeah, that's how a lot of viruses work. And no, you know most of the time because most people aren't asymptomatic. Some people are, but most people aren't. But just because you start getting symptoms, right away you're not necessarily going to know it's COVID. You could maybe, make guesses or whatever, but you probably wouldn't know for sure unless you start having severe respiratory distress, and then you go to a hospital and get tested. Or if you get tested, which if you're already sick, you're probably not going to go out and do that unless you're in some situation where you need to go to the hospital. That's how diagnosing works. Yeah, Tate's an idiot.
Most people who have it have no symptoms of. And
Where do right-wingers get this idea that most people who have it have no symptoms? Where are they getting this information?
You can see it. There's no tangible evidence. You don't see it. There's no one dropping dead in the streets.
There are over 210,000 dead people in the United States alone, Tate.
Mortality rates are not higher than usual. Everything's totally...
Yes, they are. They're much higher than other diseases. That's why it's an issue. Like, again, compared to the flu, it's much deadlier. Just got here, what is Tate saying? Stupid stuff.
In society, and people are still scared of this virus. It's amazing. It's really amazing that no one wakes up and looks around and goes, nobody's sick. Crazy world. So now Trump has corona. Well, obviously I wish the Lord Emperor Trump a speedy recovery. But what's really interesting is this. Trump has corona. It's looking like he's going to recover without any problems. He's basically asymptomatic.
Wrong.
He's a 70-something-year-old man. And
hey, dipshit. He literally got airlifted to the hospital, went on severe steroids, and then got experimental treatments. He's not asymptomatic. He's still not asymptomatic, and it's been like a week.
A high-stress job who does no exercise whatsoever, lives on McDonald's, barely sleeps, traveling all around the world, dealing with the constant bullshit that comes with being a president, and corona didn't even hurt him.
Hard disagree. There's one thing I take solace in regard to the Trump thing, and it's before he got on steroids, I think he was in a lot of pain, and I think that's nice.
So why is this not proof? Is this not the final indicator that all this lockdown bullshit should end?
Donald Trump is the president of the United States. He was airlifted to the hospital and given millions of dollars worth of medical care from a team of doctors whose entire job was to just keep him alive and get him stable. No, Tate, this is not indicative of what your average person needs to concern themselves with. Normal people don't have those privileges.
And the reason is just because this has never been about a disease. Anyone who has ever complied with any lockdown regulation, anyone who puts on their mask when they go into a gas station, anyone who...
Is he gonna insult the lady giving a massage to her fucking face? Why, he's such a trash person.
does this shit is the enemy of freedom. If you go, oh, I'll just wear the mask to go and, oh, I'll just put it on. It's bigger than that. Because the people who are telling you to do things...
If I got plucked out of time right now by someone from the 29th century and they're like, hello, we would like to understand COVID and capitalism. Please explain. I would show them this video of this dumb fuck who happens to be a millionaire because he got very lucky and because he can kick people in the head. He was a kickboxer. Ranting to a camera about how you shouldn't worry about coronavirus and that it's not a big deal and if you wear a mask, you're a pussy. Meanwhile, paying a person who's probably living paycheck to paycheck, wearing a mask, giving him a massage. I literally couldn't make up a metaphor that is more perfect than what Tate has put on display here. And I think it's kind of beautiful in the way that a derailing train, and the second that it jumps the tracks, right before it crashes, it's like, ooh, that's pretty to look at. And then, disaster.
No, it's not for a virus, it's for control. They want to control you, and you're complying. And you're complying know that the virus isn't real. You're complying knowing you have nothing to be afraid of.
Hey, Tate, you just talked about how Donald Trump had the virus, so which is it? You think it's real or you think it's not real?
Besides the rules themselves. So they can make up any bullshit reason to give you a rule and you're going to listen. And the people who are at the top making the rules aren't listening to the rules. This is why I never wear a mask. I've refused to wear a mask at every point. I was recently in Germany. I was in Germany last week. And they were like, oh, excuse me, sir. I was in a 5-star hotel. Excuse me, sir, would you like a mask? No, I wouldn't like a mask, thanks. Oh, but you need to wear one. No, I don't need to wear one, thank you. I just kept walking. What are they going to do? Call the police? They ain't going to do nothing.
Depending on the country, depending on where you are, they could. Yeah, I don't know what Germany's lockdown laws and stuff were.
But what happens when they come up to you? Excuse me, would you like a mask? Oh, sorry.
Yeah, that doesn't happen to me because I'm a responsible adult and I already have a mask, so.
You're all complicit. Pathetic people. If people were like me, if everyone's like, no, I don't wear a mask. No, I don't wear one. Why? Because I don't want to. Thanks. If
someone asked me, and again, I'll go back to the imaginary situation of someone from, like, the 29th century being like, hey, random streamer that we somehow have resurrected from the dead or brought to the future. We like your memes. What do you think the biggest problem of the 21st century was so far? Obviously. Lack of empathy. An abundance of people who are psychopaths with no empathy for those around them. And narcissists. All these things. This isn't all the things I cover. From Chud Watch to Sovereign Citizens to Karens to Conspiracy Theorist. It's a bunch of self-aggrandizing narcissists all circle-jerking themselves into oblivion.
There's nothing funny about the tools of capitalism.
Espresso Rat, new religion, create the best memes so that you can get revived in the future. I'm in.
Bye. Then the whole thing would collapse. But it doesn't collapse because you're all cowards. You're all cowards. All of you. I've never seen in history a government take power from people and then give it back. I've never seen that. and it's not going to happen anytime soon. And if you don't think this virus...
Telling you to wear a mask during a pandemic isn't taking power away from you. It's telling you, hey, citizen of country X, you have a responsibility to your fellow citizens to help curb this public health crisis. Please do so.
Virus is about really what it's truly
There's nothing
about.
funny about the tools of capitalism.
Devious Chilster with 50 bits. America, where individualism has gone way too far, and caring about other people is somehow weak. God, I hate America. Can we just get invaded already by a better country?
There's nothing funny about the tools of
Unfortunately,
capitalism.
the narcissists in charge also are big on military spending, so doubt that's going to happen anytime soon. Unless America literally becomes like New Germany and starts some shit and the rest of the world gangs up on us. Obowan with 100 bits. I want to bet he was in Berlin, the only place in Germany where you won't get fined if you're over 6 years old and or arrested.
There's nothing funny about the tools of
Querulous
capitalism.
Artisan with 100 bits. Rather be a coward than risk killing someone. Oh, are we on a hype train again? Nice. Oh, nice. Hype train. Woo! Can aliens invade us then? Historically, that doesn't tend to work. That doesn't tend to work out too well to the people being visited by advanced beings from another place. Look at the entire history of colonialism for what happens when a more advanced group of individuals meets a less advanced group of individuals. I'd rather not become a colony for Martians.
Everything's always been about this. Sexism is not about sexism. It's not about men and women. It's about the rich and the poor.
There's nothing funny about the tools
Espresso
of
Rat,
capitalism.
thank you for subscribing. Ooh, okay. Espresso Rat, thank you for subscribing with too much drink. Like the hat. Thank you. It's my D&D character hat. Batty Bell, thank you for gifting 10 Tier
There's
1
nothing funny
subs.
about the tools
Dude
of
spanking dudes
capitalism.
with 10 bits. This makes me not want to wear a mask, so I get sick and hopefully pass this mortal plane. But I care about my fellow humans, so I wear the mask. I'm glad you wear the mask.
There's nothing funny about the tools of
To
capitalism.
rich narcissists, having even the slightest accountability for your own actions is having your freedoms taken away from you. Yeah, it's disgusting. Enlid with 10 bits. Here's a micro example for this dude. In 2013, the government
nothing
in and
funny
around
about the tools
Boston
of
had to
capitalism.
instill curfews and have heavily armed police on the streets to capture the Boston terrorists. When the surviving one was taken into custody, they ended these actions. Yeah, that's a good example.
There's nothing funny about the tools of capitalism.
Are leftist billionaires a myth? There might be liberal billionaires who, like, believe in, like,
There's nothing
oh, we
funny
should
about the
have,
tools
you know,
of
equal rights
capitalism.
for gay people and stuff. But no, there are no leftist billionaires. If you were a leftist billionaire, you would be the biggest hypocrite on the planet. I don't think that's a
There's
thing.
nothing funny about the tools of capitalism.
Race is not about race. It's about the rich and the poor. This virus is about the rich and the poor. It always has been. I said this to a feminist. She's like, oh yeah, but women are exploited. I said, no.
There's nothing funny
Poor
about the
women
tools
are
of
exploited.
capitalism.
Rich women are exploited.
Tate's being Tate being accidentally based about class issues. Interesting.
There's nothing funny
And
about
poor
the
men
tools
are
of
exploited.
capitalism.
Poor men are in the coal mines, and poor women are prostitutes because they're poor. And rich men and rich women are not doing those things. It's about rich and poor. Same with race. You think when a white billionaire
There's
meets a
nothing funny
black
about the
billionaire,
tools of
he goes,
capitalism.
oh, I don't like black people. Of course not.
Says the
He doesn't
rich
care.
man.
Got the billionaire.
He's not wrong, though. Yeah, a lot of the problems that come with social issues are often
There's nothing funny
tied
about the tools
to
of capitalism.
natural consequences. Not even natural consequences, just consequences. And being wealthy insulates you from all consequences. Therefore, if you are rich
nothing
and
funny
you are
about
a
the tools
woman,
of
or you are
capitalism.
rich and you're a minority, you're going to have an easier time and face fewer consequences for the social ills in the United States than someone who is of working class or a wage slave, right?
There's nothing funny about the
Like,
tools
if
of
you're
capitalism.
rich and you're gay, you're probably not going to deal with as much homophobia, at least not in the ways that matter, right? Because when we're talking about issues like systematic racism, and we're talking about people being mistreated
There's
because
nothing
they're
funny
gay
about the
or
tools of
trans or
capitalism.
whatever, these are issues that don't affect you if you're rich. Look at someone like Caitlyn Jenner, who's a trans woman, but she's also wealthy. She doesn't have to worry about not getting hired for a job because she's trans. She doesn't have to worry about expense of transition. She doesn't have to worry about, oh God, I'm losing my train of thought. Gotta get on track. Doesn't have to worry about health insurance in any way, shape, or form. And so she ended up, advocating for Trump in 2016, right? Something no reasonable trans individual would do if they weren't in this bubble of affluence. If you are wealthy, you are insulated from consequences, period. So yeah, Tate's not wrong in that sense, but I don't think he gets the right message out of it. I think he thinks this is a good thing, when it's really indicative of great social injustice caused by the classes, the de facto class system we have in this country.
It's always been about rich and poor. I flew private a few weeks ago. When I flew private, no one asked me to wear a mask. My pilot wasn't wearing a mask. At the private airport, there was no masks. I filled in no corona paperwork when I landed. No masks when I landed at Biggin Hill. So when you fly private and you spend big money, there's no masks, no corona, no paperwork. You fly commercial.
Tate is accidentally giving us tons and tons of reasons to eat him first, if the push came to shove. You know what I'm saying?
You gotta fill in paper.
You could almost... Let's imagine there was a situation where class consciousness got to the point in this country where we made systematic, fundamental change that caused people like Tate to no longer be able to have the power and exclusivity that they have today. I feel like 50, 60, 70, 100, 1,000 years from now, you could almost show this as an educational film and be like, look at these private sector monarchs that used to exist. Isn't it a good thing we stopped this from happening? Marcus Drake with 100 bits. Charles Feeney, maybe the only leftist billionaire, gave away his entire $8 billion and is now apparently broke. Well, there you go. That's what happens if you're a leftist and become a billionaire. You're no longer a billionaire. MMO addicted with 10 bits. I mean, he has plenty of nice, healthy meat on him and a bit rough due to the muscles, but still slow cook him in a smoker.
Fill in your track and trace app to get to the UK. Wear your mask on the plane. Do you not see? Can you not see that the elites are not listening to these rules they're giving to you?
Do I consider myself a Marxist? No,
stupid
I don't.
People you see complying are the reason this system is not completely destroyed. It's propagated by the fear of losers. By people who are too cowardly to sit and say, no, I do not believe I need a mask, so I will not wear one. I'd rather have corona, because I don't think I'm going to hide from a virus for the rest of my human life. If it exists, I'm going to get it eventually. So
not necessarily. If you follow protocols, social distance, and wear masks, you could hold out until there's a vaccine.
Fuck it. Anyone who's smart enough to do that is going to prevent the Ponzi scheme. This is a Ponzi scheme. The more fear they send out and the more people comply, the more people just wear their masks, the worse the whole thing gets.
Probably. That's probably a good place to pin me.
It's not such a small little issue. It's like, oh, well, I just wear a mask. Well, then you're just a bitch. You're just a bitch, and you're the kind of person that allows societies to be controlled en masse without reasoning. And you're not
the reason is a deadly virus that has killed over 200,000 people in the States. I say in the States because Tate's audience are mostly American or sometimes UK men.
The kind of person I like. So anyway, sorry, I'm ranting. Let's go back. Trump has corona. My prediction is as follows. Trump's going to be fine in 3 to 4 days. Now, what I want to see is if Trump comes out in 3 to 4 days, what would really piss the liberals off is if when he returns, like Jesus after 3 days of rest, when he is born again, when he goes back into the Oval Office, I really genuinely hope he says, that wasn't so bad, let's open up everything. That'd be gangster.
Can we not put Trump's face over one of my favorite childhood films? That'd be great. Yikerinos. Oh, they're still using this meme from years ago? Cool. Oh, Tate. The consummate reminder that wealth has absolutely no bearing on how intelligent you are. You and Donald Trump. Real good examples. So that's the end of Tate's thing for the day.